What
Right.
does the way we look is look. Hi, I am glad to be with you today. I am I'm a former teacher. I'm a retired teacher, and I too am 80, like the previous speaker. I just turned 80, and I am still involved in our education system in a lot of ways. I um, I grew up in a small community in Cape Breton Island. Um, where my grandfather was the Grand Chief of the Mi'kmaq Nation. That's who we are, Mi'kmaq people. I always spoke my language. I did not speak English when I entered school when I was 7, but my mother believed in education, and my father was a businessman, but he died very young, and we had a big family, as did all my uncles and my aunts, and the Grand Chief's family was huge. Um, we were traditional in other ways, not in. We were brought up. I was brought up very Catholic, um, very Christian. So I did not know of our ways of the past until much later. I went to boarding schools for girls where I always tell my 7 children who are all out right now, except Darren lives next door, so he's always here. But yeah. So anyway, we had a big family. My mother had a big family, even though my dad died young. She raised us, and we didn't get much from the Indian affairs in those days, but we were never hungry. They were beautiful days where my cousins lived all around us, and there was a lot of people around us all the time. We were well protected growing up, and very much loved. My mother never really gave me a hug or kissed me or the way I did with my children growing up. I was very affectionate with my own 7 children, but my husband and we're both always very affectionate with them. My husband is also native. He's also Mi'kmaq. Um, we live in Membertou First Nation right now because he's from there. And usually in our culture, wherever your husband was from, you would go and settle there. But things change, they evolve, and there's a lot of flux in our society today. Our people are very much acculturated, and and a lot of our people are well educated. But we grew up in a family when I was a kid, just like every other native and every other Indian in Canada. We were very poor. My mother worked hard making baskets, handcrafts, and she sold them and she made a living. I went to high school when I was young, boarding school for girls, simply because we didn't have a high school in our reserve. Today, my previous reserve is very big. Eskasoni is called Eskasoni, and there's different name places in Eskasoni. Where I grew up, it was called Castle Bay because it's a beautiful place with water on one side, the lakes, and on the other side are mountains, and it's gorgeous. Well, anyway, we spoke Mi'kmaq. I still speak Mi'kmaq today. My husband does as well. My older children, like Darren and Robin and Shannon, understand the language, and so is my youngest, who is very much younger than her siblings, same family. Anyway, I went and got my teachers. I went to university. I went to boarding schools, and when I finished them, I went to university, and I became a teacher, and I kept pursuing my education until I got my highest level of teacher certification, and I was able to. Even though I am bilingual, I my children don't speak Mi'kmaq as fluently as I do. They try. We have lost a lot of our language, and since I'm a teacher, I've always been involved in teaching language. I try to always try to. My cousin and I developed our curriculum. Later on, I finished the school. I worked in a reserve where I came from, Eskasoni. Anyway, when I finished, I left that school after 10 years, and I got a position with the what do you call it, provincial school board in Sydney, and there I taught for another 10 years, and then I went to the university to be an elder for the Native students. We have a little small contingent at the university, not small now, I'm sorry, it's huge. And we have our own little, at Cape Breton University, we have our own little room, a large room, really. And our children, our students, I speak to them in Mi'kmaq. I try to find time to teach the language. I've been heavily involved in language and culture, and I've been celebrated as such, being very native. Um, I received a lot of awards, and I'm on a lot of committees. But I must say that our people have had a quick change from poverty to now we're better off. We on our reserve in Member 2 First Nation, we have a very a lot of I would say a lot of non-natives living here, but we as elders try to keep our culture and our language in every facet of life. We incorporate it in every way we can. Um, we're very proud people. So now our children are beginning to pick up the language. We have our language in our schools, in our universities, even other universities, not on the island, but in mainland Nova Scotia. We have developed programs, and we have our children, our teenagers, I guess, young adults in university learning our language. And I, as an elder, and as a high school teacher, I was able to go to other schools because I was hired as a cultural coordinator. But because I'm a teacher, they had me teaching because of shortage of resources. They had me teaching courses, but they also let me go and do in services a lot with young teachers and also with older teachers and also with other schools. I did a lot of helping people understand us as a people and how we are never going to change. We're going to teach our children the way we were in our culture, in our customs, in our values, especially. Today, a lot has changed, and it's because of, I guess, we could say the media, the TV, all the different communication systems we have, the radio, and especially now the social media. But we are very proud of who we are in Member 2 and in all of our reserves. We have 5 reserves in our community, and all of them are involved, even in the mainland Nova Scotia, where 3 of my daughters are married there. We also try also to bring our culture in. We are now into powwows, which we never had when I was growing up. I guess I did have them. We had in our culture, we have an island that our ancestors used to go to, and we still went there when the Jesuits came, I guess 400 or 500 years ago, and we still go there. We still have a church. A lot of people have gone back to Native spirituality and different religions, but we still go there, all of us as a group, and we just share a lot. We lived there in one time as a young girl. I lived in a wigwam, but because my father wasn't alive, and my brothers made it, and we weren't at all. We didn't have anything. But my grandfather, because he was Grand Chief, we would go on the boat to this island. But I'll be honest, a lot of us are acculturated, but we still try to be practicing the old ways. We still go to this island, even though some people are not Catholic anymore. We still all go, we share, and we live the way we used to live. And it's the happiest time of my youth, and also the happiest time of my as a mother and a grandmother, and now I'm a great grandmother. We have a big family, and they're all out now. Darren is just visiting here, sharing this with us. So I guess all I can say is, I spend my whole life trying to teach the language. Well, I taught language in schools. Even at the university, I teach a group of students the language. We have time, they really want to learn, and they really do learn. But now that I'm fully retired, so I will still go visit them once in a while, and my own children, I try so hard, but it's hard in our community because there's so many non-natives living here, and we love people, of course, we love them all, and but it's easier to lose your language. It's easier to keep your language when you're all in a bubble with your own people. I guess that's all I have to say. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm very grateful. Wala yo, mleshkadu, wigumio, twe ulino pisto. Wala yo.